because all these Asian countries, if they consider Hawaii or other state, but they choose not coming here because the gay marriage, and then they would reduce the number to come to Hawaii, and then we calculate that. That is the method.
Your 385,000 Asian visitors then is China and Indonesia or Malaysia, Philippines, Bangkok. It's all of the Asian. And Japan. Are you actually saying that 385,000 come just for marriage or celebration of a marriage? And
correct.
Because
correct.
There's literally millions, correct?
Yeah, and then I look at Professor Lacroix's paper, and he only considers
It's around 250 million over 3 years, I think he had suggested.
Oh, that is his estimate. But it's the real number that compare how many Asian people coming to marriage. U.S. mainland visitor to Hawaii, only 54,000. But from Asian is 300,000.
Okay, so you're saying you're 700 million versus his maybe 75 million per year. Yours is per year, correct? 700 million?
Yes, it's per year.
700 per year.
And also for the number that this paper present, there has two numbers. One is the revenue gain. Another is the revenue plus the, in economists, we call it a multiplier. So actually, if you calculating the revenue that plus the multiplier, and then it will produce a much bigger number for the economics impact. The same thing, the number I presenting here, 234 million is just direct revenue. So if you put this money to multiplier, then it will be 10 times bigger,
okay.
the impact.
I hear your numbers and I see it. I've got to get inside of your model because models are based on assumptions, etc. How did you arrive at the rationale that if same-sex marriage is passed, categorically 100% of the people don't show up? Or is it because of some cultural value that says it's going to stop or it's going to dwindle? I mean, how are you extrapolating that this will be, no longer a destination? I'm trying to see where your model builds the logic of that.
Yeah, because as an Asian people, that we know that Asian people, their family value is the gay marriage or gay behavior is not acceptable. So also consider if they think about coming to Hawaii is for the clean air and clean environment, but when they think that, oh, now the gay marriage are allowed, then they will automatic to connect those to HIV disease, and also if they think they send their children to come to Hawaii for better education, and they don't want their children to go to a gay environment that get influenced, because that is considered not graceful or not welcome, not acceptable. So when people, then they had a choice to coming to Hawaii or Florida or Guam, then when they think, oh, those place may be a better choice, then they would deny the choice to coming to Hawaii.
So it's very clear that there is a downside because of the negative part of it rather than certainty as to the I would say the certainty as to the amounts. Regarding Indonesia or other places, it may have a stronger impact in some countries. I think all of Asia is not the same. Some of you saw earlier there was a Muslim religious leader here, an imam. I spoke later outside. The Hawaii Muslim Association is categorically against same-sex marriage. In those countries, the largest Muslim countries, Indonesia, probably that would apply, but places where it's with a large Chinese population, it may not exactly apply, which is much of Southeast Asia. But the point is you've set out something that otherwise we were not aware of other than Mr. Lacroix's study where it was going to be of a benefit. So yours is about $500 million different than his, and I think that's a
Okay,
benefit.
thank you,
It's more than,
Representative.
it's
Okay,
more
that's
than
fine.
500. It's
That's
more
fine.
than 500. It's 4 times higher.
Four
Four
times.
times.
Okay,
Madam Chair,
Representative Ward.
just one note of thanking you for stepping forward. And I'm amazed at how many former mainland Chinese have come to testify, which to me is verifying your sense that the lack of approval of same-sex marriage has been very much apparent by those who have come forward
Okay,
from a
thank
country
you,
where they were not
Representative
able to
Ward.
speak. And I'm not able to speak now, but let me finish. We're in a country that they're here able to speak out.
Actually, Representative
doing
Ward,
it.
we're trying to accommodate few people who are trying
But,
to leave.
Madam
by
Chair, I
8.
think you know me by now. When you try to shut me down, I'm going to talk all the more. So let me finish a statement.
Okay, so I just wanted to. Okay,
Look, we've been here
Representative
for
Ward.
38. We've been here for 38 hours, and I want 30.
You know, I'm trying to be.
Yes, madam,
Very
I have
efficient
finished.
too.
I want to thank you very much
Yeah.
for your data. It's very helpful.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. You know that
Okay, that's
in the
fine.
world, many people fighting
Okay, thank
for
you.
opportunity
We're
for
trying
that.
to accommodate a couple people who need to go to the doctors by 8 o'clock, and you know they've been waiting for a long
I
time.
totally
and
respect that.
They're
I
right
wait for
in-
this opportunity
Okay,
for
excuse
2
me.
days, but I'm glad that I make it. Thank you.
Okay, Representative Hart.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Is 3895 still here, Mr. Travis Augustin? Good evening, Mr. Augustin. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your testimony in this. We're getting into the later hour. You know, something that you said struck me. You said the bottom line of this bill is that it does not protect an individual's rights to express himself or herself under the First Amendment. Now, when you talk about expression, you know, most people, when they think about the First Amendment, they think about freedom of speech. And I'm going to assume that's not necessarily what you were referring to when you said the bottom line in this bill, when you were talking about the exemptions?
There's different forms of expression where public policy and expression will intersect.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Can you talk
sorry.
closer to the
The intersection of expression and public policy is my bottom line. There's going to be different forms, whether it be by actions, whether it be by words or speech. There's just different forms, and the vagueness in the bill concerns me with just individuals who want to respectfully disagree, and whether public policy will conflict with their right to express themselves.
So, have you read the bill?
I have.
Okay, so with respect to the actual section on the religious exemptions for the churches regarding solemnization, so you've seen that part, and then you've
Right.
heard all the discussion about public accommodations too. So are you saying that, I mean, is that what's intersecting? I'm just trying to clarify. I'm still trying to, I need you to elaborate, because I understand conceptually what you're talking about,
Sure.
but I'm trying, you know, we're trying to make the best bill possible, right? And so what
And I believe you can.
right, what specifically would you suggest then?
I don't have any specific language that I would suggest, possibly maybe in the intent and then in the findings, that you're respecting that there is opposite views on this issue, and being able to reconcile that and acknowledge that if this bill passes, there will be people that will respectfully disagree, and acknowledging that they won't be punished, whether it be civilly or criminally, for their expression. And I understand that there's boundaries that need to be created.
Okay, Mr.
okay,
Augustin, sorry.
Right.
Okay, really, at the end of the day, you're an attorney. You know, we're talking about 14th Amendment protections on one hand versus First Amendment protections on the other.
Correct.
Right? If that's really what this boils down to. So in your learned opinion as an attorney, I mean, you're telling me right now you feel that this bill infringes upon First Amendment rights?
I believe it falls short of protecting that, and whether there's assurances or predictability.
Because of the competing interests, you feel that
Correct.
the language does need to be beefed up.
I feel it needs to be refined. Correct.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, you have more questions?
Not to this gentleman, but someone else.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. It's number 3967. It was the lady who said she was a bisexual. It was a unique testimony, and I wanted to ask her a question. 3967.
Hello.
I'm not really sure how to ask the question, but it came up with a question to the governor that it may treat bisexuals unfairly in that they would be limited to either the male side of the preference versus the female side. Is that something that you've considered, that the governor having said that he would suspect a lawsuit within a year of this bill if it did pass? Do you have any opinion on, as a bisexual, how this bill would affect you?
I mean, I'm here for equal rights, so I believe that everyone should have the right to be married.
But would the preference be to marry the male gender or the female gender?
I mean,
or
I
is
don't,
it not,
I don't
it's
have
not a
a
relevant
preference.
question?
She needs, she has a medical condition and needs to get to a doctor right away. Okay.
Thank you very much for making this exception. My name is Kelly Myers. I am number 4028. Aloha legislators for the state of Hawaii. I am honored to be here to speak in the presence of our elected officials who represent the people of the state of Hawaii. I am here to speak in opposition of Senate Bill 1, proposing legalization of same-sex marriage. During the past 4 days of demonstrating against this bill, I have witnessed some wonderful things. First of all, I have seen the unification of all faiths and churches to fight the ratification of this bill. I have seen people take off work and sacrifice hours and days to voice their opposition of SB1. I have seen Native Hawaiians fight to preserve their rights and heritage from encroachment by the government elected to protect them. I know this bill is wrong. It infringes upon my rights as a U.S. citizen to reserve the right to teach my children the values and religious beliefs I hold to be true and right. If this bill is passed, the children in our schools will be exposed to a lifestyle I believe is wrong and against the laws of God, nature, and man. Who are you to say what my children are to be taught when it comes to moral and religious beliefs? Who are you to infringe upon my right as a parent to teach my children what is morally and ethically correct? I implore you to stop the passage of this bill. My religious beliefs and freedoms are protected under the Constitution of the United States, whose very foundation was based on freedom from religious persecution. Protect our religious rights and freedoms from the destruction this bill would bring. I believe in God the Father and in His Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next testifier, please.
Hello, my name is Falimai Funaki Anosi Malinga, and I am a student that is coming from Pearl City High School. My number is 3968.
Thank you.
I am here to say that I am against SBI. I feel that we shouldn't be forced to learn about same-sex couples. If this bill was to pass, if my mom wouldn't take me out of the class that we are having to learn about same-sex couples, I would take myself out personally. I feel that if same-sex same-sex couples would want to teach their children about their lifestyle, out of no disrespect, I feel that they should just teach it at home instead of having it to be taught in our schools. I just want to say that I love all my gay brothers and sisters. I have nothing against them. I have gay family members and everything, but I stand in what I believe in, and what I believe in is the man up above. I am not a bigot, but I am a child of God. I love everyone because Jesus showed his first love. I feel that you guys should let the people decide on what they truly believe in. And I mean, I feel that, SBI shouldn't be passed because of what may happen in Hawaii. Hawaii state motto says that this is the land that pursues righteousness. And I feel that, we all should have that. And I just want to say that I am against same-sex marriage. Kind of nervous right now, but
Okay.
I will stand for what I believe in, and what I believe in is the traditional marriage, which is a man and a woman, not man to man or woman to woman. And I will stand here today and tell you guys that the SB1 shouldn't be passed because what happened in Hawaii. And I want to thank God for just bringing me here today and my family to stand for what we believe in, which is God. So thank you all, and thank you for listening. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you very much. Before the next testifier comes up, for the testifiers with numbers from 4,001 to 4,200, please check in. 4,001 to 4,200, please check in. Okay, next.
I am born and raised on this beautiful island of Oahu. I am married to my husband, Burkhart Aitavale, for 16 years with 7 beautiful children. My oldest is here. Hi, Des. It's my oldest. I come before everyone here tonight because I strongly oppose SB1 for many reasons. Standing in line for 3 days was worth it. But to stand here in front of you to testify only for 2 minutes is ridiculous. Majority have said it all. Let the people vote. Let Hawaii vote. I stand here tonight for my family and friends, especially because I fear my God. A week ago, I told my husband, if this bill goes through, we are moving to American Samoa. My husband told me, no, we cannot move. We cannot run away. We cannot be like Noah, if you know who Noah is. We are not leaving Hawaii if this bill goes through. We will stand firm. We will stand strong. We will stand as a family, as a ohana, as a ainga. This is our island, this is our home, and we're gonna fight. Let the people vote. I know you have heard that the whole night. Majority have said it. I'm gonna say it many more times. Let the people vote. Because I have 20 more seconds, I'm just gonna chant it. Let the people vote. 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 Let the people vote.
Okay,
I love you.
Okay, that's enough.
I love you. Thank you all. We
Next.
love you guys. I bless
Next.
you all and your family.
Please.
Amen. Thank
Next.
Good evening. My name is Melissa Moyone. Registration number 3971. Born and raised on the island of Oahu, I am a mother to 4 beautiful children. I have 3 boys and 1 girl. I have been married to a wonderful husband for 9 years. I strongly and respectfully oppose SB1. It's not because I don't like my gay brothers or sisters, no. I love them because why? Jesus loved them. Jesus died for you too. I have family that I love dearly. I have a cousin that I'm really close that is lesbian. But she know that if it became between her and God, I would choose my God because my God is big. But one of my main issues to this bill, which I have many, are my First Amendment rights. Can you guarantee that my First Amendment rights are protected with no questions asked? I don't think so. So please, again, kill this bill where it stands, here in your hands, and let the people of Hawaii decide. My children are my life, and I'm sure that your children are yours. This is a serious issue that needs more than a couple days to come to a decision. It will affect us today, tomorrow, and in the future. So please, again, vote no to SB1. Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless.
Next, please.
Good afternoon.
Good evening.
My number is 3972. I'm sorry, I lost my voice because I was screaming up there. Just to fight for our freedom and for our people. Thank you. First of all, I want to give God all the glory and honor for us to be here as the sisters and brothers. Thank you all up there to listen for our voice. We just want to thank you guys so much. I'm here today because I oppose SB1. I want my voice to be heard. So I have two wonderful boys, a wonderful husband, man of God, Risiti Lungalua, that he's upstairs cheering out for our rights. This is a miracle. We just want to thank you guys. God do miracles so great. Miracle can and do happen, but only through your faith in God. So we just want to ask you guys to stand up, to vote. We want you guys to say no to this bill, kill this bill for our rights and for our families' rights. For our brothers and sisters here, our gay friends, we love you guys. We're not here to against you guys. We're here to do the right thing for our ohana and for our children. And I just want to thank you guys for giving me this opportunity to share and to hear my voice and to do the right thing for our country and for our Hawaii. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, please.
Aloha and talofa.
Oh, no.
My name is Neil. My number's 3973. I will stay over here. Soft my heart. I love the kids. They stand outside there and hold one mom, one dad, and one me. I hope I stand over there in the outside. That's why my voice not powerful. The other people, they stick in the hand and show the private stuff. I told them, God bless. I know the government and the president, they see this. If you love your kid, get plenty the children outside there. We want the freedom. And this bill, I don't like this bill. This bill in going to my island cannot pass. Yeah, I'm serious. I love all the people inside here. Aloha and God bless. This bill, I don't like this bill. No same-sex marriage. Okay, all my family, shaka, aloha, mekaliki maka, God bless. United States, have Hawaii.
Next, please.
Hi, my name is Liz Alarcio, registered voter from Mililani, number 3819, and I strongly oppose to Senate Bill 1. I'm here standing before you in behalf of my 3 daughters, 18-year-old granddaughter, and my first unborn grandson, Aiden. I don't want them to think that this is the way to live now if this bill passes. We're not ready for that. I love them dearly, and this is why I don't want them to grow up in this. I have friends, close people, in fact, who are in this lifestyle, and I treat them like family, and they even call me auntie, and they're no different. I love them. Us adults can adapt to this, but not for the new generation. More so, this lifestyle to be taught in school, I really find that unacceptable. Again, we're not ready for that. And for our spiritual rights to be infringed upon is another unacceptable matter. Please preserve the rights of the church. I believe fully in traditional marriage, and I want to enjoy and preserve that in later years to come. We are in our 36th year of marriage. Our lives will be so altered to cater to the few and definitely hurt so many. I feel that our freedom is being taken away, so please, let us not rush into this. Please vote no to SB1, and I urge you, please let the people decide. Please let the people decide. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next, please.
Mr. Chair, can we just to remind some people are leaving, some of the testifiers are leaving, if they could stay.
If you'd like to stay for questions, you're more than welcome, but you don't have to. Okay, next.
My name is Glenn Shimabukuro. My registration number 3976. Good evening. My name is Glenn Shimabukuro. I am a registered voter, a husband, and a grandfather. I am testifying against SB1. I want to thank you for allowing me to testify in opposition until further deliberation and analysis be done. The public has not been given the opportunity to hear, digest, review, and understand the full implication of this proposal. Why the rush? I believe there are dire consequences for businesses, education, and the healthcare related matters that have not been properly addressed or made known to the public. May I urge you to vote no on this passage of legislation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
I'm Seth Jeremiah, and my number is 3990. 3990. I love everyone, but every time on Monday and through Thursday, I came to the testimonies, and some lies have been told about me. Oh, shoot. Shoot. Go ahead, David. Keep talking. Okay. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, diverting their just powers from the government. Consent of the government. Shoot. Where's the consent? Consent of the governed. That whatever any form of the government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of people to alter or abolish it, and institute new government.
Thank you for allowing my son to share this. First and foremost,
I'm sorry, excuse me, sir, but my recollection is that you've testified already. Your son is welcome to testify, but...
And he is. That's what I'm saying. Thank you for allowing him to testify.
Okay. Thank you very much, then.
I guess what he was sharing is
I'm sorry, it's your son gets to testify, but you've already testified.
No, I'm not done saying thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So we just want to thank
next,
Governor
please.
Obama Crombie as well.
Next, please. Go ahead.
All right. My number is 3814. And I commend you representatives for being out and listening to all of our comments. But I do want to pay special attention to my representative, Jean Ward, and to Bob McDermott there. I noticed they have been here. They seem to be glued to their seats. They're here more than I think anyone else. And they have been representing our feelings and our wishes. And I brought flags to give to them. I will bring them to your offices because you speak up for us, and we appreciate it. I do question, though, the inconsideration and the radical behavior of our governor to, whoops, just a minute, a phone call is coming in.
Okay. If you want to use
the radical behavior of our governor, who for the first time in history has unilaterally called a special session. It was not an emergency. These people say, or one gentleman here, representative said, you know, this is a long time coming. It's been 20 years. So tell me, why the rush? Why the special session? We have homeless in our streets in Waikiki, and that's our tourism. Our tourism, it's affecting our tourism that is one of the major money makers of our
At this point, members will be asking questions of the group that's just testified. Any questions?
Chair.
Representative McDermott.
Thank you. Could I have the Samoan girl who led the chant come on down here? Sunga, vavavi.
Hi.
Fafia maioi.
Manuia Fafitai.
Malo lolo. So, as a you're American or Western Samoan?
American.
Okay, as a Samoan, have you or your family ever experienced discrimination based on the way you look or the way you dress with your EA going to the store or something like that?
A lot of times.
A lot of times. As Samoan culture, you have practiced the fafafinge, right?
Yes.
And they're welcome?
Yes.
And they're loved?
Yes.
They're part of the family?
Mm-hmm.
When I heard you lead the chant, I didn't hear you hurl anything hateful or anything else. You just expressed an opinion, correct?
Correct.
But someone yelled out that you, a Samoan, were a bigot. But you're not. You're loving people, aren't you?
Yes, very loving.
And you're
I was raised
welcoming
to be
people.
that way, and I'm going to be that way until I die.
Thank you very. I have one last thing to ask you. Famole mole maise sigaleki. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Members, any other questions? Okay, seeing none, let's go on to the next.
I have a question,
Sorry,
Mr.
Representative
Chair.
Foley, go ahead.
Ma lauso Samoa. Ofele kama Samoa. Is that a Samoan? You wearing a Samoan lava lava today?
Yes, sir. If you respect people,
Not to be rude, but can you tie this to the bill somehow, please?
Talofa.
respect the people. You cannot stand up and talk. That's a rule.
I'm sorry, Representative Foley.
Mr. Chair, but that's exactly, you know, given the diversity of the state of Hawaii and the great impact that this bill is going to have on a myriad of cultures, Mr. Speaker. I think it's very important, especially for my Samoan brother over here. I know it took a lot of courage for him to come and speak today. You can see, Mr. Speaker, that he struggles.
Is there a question here somewhere, or something to do with
yes.
the bill, or something?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. I'm just wondering why he gathered the motivation to come, given the challenges he has in communicating with the in the English language, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to ask him about where exactly that courage comes from. So, what was the big motivation for you to come out and speak today on the bill?
I come out today. I want support. I want to support the people, especially the kids. That's the main point. I come today. The kids. I don't like the kid to see this kind of stuff on the street. If you come my island, they cannot do this kind of stuff. I'm serious. This bill, they come over there, they cannot pass. And then all that village, they can't.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you for your testimony.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Members, any other questions?
Smalo.
Okay, seeing none, let's move on to the next testifier. Who's next? Please come forward. Evening.
Aloha. My name is Given Miyamoto. I'm a native Hawaiian and third generation Japanese. I'm the father of 5.
I'm sorry, can you just give us our...
grandfather of 13.
Can you just
My
tell
number
us-
is
Thank you.
4011.
Mahalo.
I oppose SB1. If SB1 is passed, the following will occur, but are not limited to this list. Marriage between a man and a woman, which is essential to the creation of traditional family, will be in the bonds of holy matrimony and raised by a loving father and mother will not receive this entitlement. Schools which teach the new definition of marriage and will correct and ostracize our children who openly disagree based on their family's religious belief. Health and sex education courses will also reflect the new definition in its curriculum. Lawsuits will be brought against individuals, small businesses, marriage counselors, and even some churches and the related organizations, including educational and traditional institutions, which charitable institutions which refuse to support sex marriage and under religious conscious grounds. Religious groups that provide family-related services such as adoption will be stripped of their state licenses for being unwilling to treat same-sex marriage as equal to traditional marriage. Society will increasingly view and treat those who support traditional marriages for religious reasons as bigots and ignorant. For these reasons, I strongly oppose SB1.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
Good evening. I thank you for your time and your listening. My name is Joanne Wazinski. My number is 4017. I'm a resident of Hawaii, a registered voter in Kaanakakai, Molokai. This is not my thing to do, but I thank God that I live in a free country We might not have a vote on this, but we still have a voice, and I thank God for that. I'm thankful for my sisters, the Kapunas, that were able to come from Molokai and sing for us. They sing like that over there, and we appreciate them. I'm not a singer. I am a Christian, and I believe that my God still speaks today. And I just share this as my belief, not to put it on anyone. I don't sing, but in 2 weeks before the towers got hit, I was in Maui getting out of the car with my sister, not thinking about a song, but a song came up out of my spirit. And the song was, "The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run into it, and they are safe." I couldn't understand. The next week I went, same church, they had a speaker. He went to give a sermon. He got up, went to speak, went over to the piano and started pounding the piano and singing the same song. "The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run into it, they're safe." I do pray like many people do. I couldn't understand how I got that kind of song. This year, someone gave me a book in Molokai, a person by the name of Rabbi Jonathan Kahn. He believed what the Lord showed him. God blesses us, I believe. He blesses and has. He believes.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Aloha. My number is 443-4003. My name is Gwen Miles. I'm a wife of 29 years with one son, and I oppose this bill, SB1. Mahalo for the awesome privilege to just be here today. I honor all of you legislators, and I feel for you too. Wouldn't want your job. We are so blessed to live in Hawaii. At age 15, I first visited Hawaii. When I got off the plane, the sky was blue, the sun was yellow, and the fragrance of plumeria, you could smell it just after you got off the plane. As Judy Garland put it in The Wizard of Oz, I got a big dose of Hawaii just after a few weeks at Kalani High School. It was a pep rally, football pep rally. The music was a Hawaiian war chant. One of our football players was dancing to the music in his uniform with a coconut bra, with Hawaiian feathers shaking, doing something like a hula. One of the female teachers wore a slip, underwear, over her clothes, with hula bamboo sticks, singing and dancing along with the football players and the cheerleaders. Not too many years ago, I'd come to the opening of the legislature just to hear the local entertainers make fun of the ethnic differences we have here in Hawaii. They would poke fun at the quirks of the various cultures here. That's our Ohana love that is unique to Hawaii. I commend you legislators for being here, having the stamina and fortitude.
Thank you very much.
God bless you.
Good night. Next, please.
Aloha. My name is Doran Porter, Vice Chair of the GLBT Caucus of the Democratic Party of Hawaii, number 4119 from Kaneohe, Hawaii. I am here to testify in strong support of SB1. I stand on my written testimony and the fact that last year we paid over $1,500 in federal taxes and over $12,000 in additional tuition, despite the fact that we had a civil union in 2012. I do want to share a couple additional thoughts with you. I see and feel the pain expressed by opponents of this bill. However, I take strong offense to those who have expressed their displeasure of my community's use of the terms civil rights and marriage to define our struggle and our wishes to live in a society where we are no longer treated as second-class citizens. We too have a history wrought with pain and even death at the hands of our oppressors. Many of my brothers and sisters wore pink triangles as they were led to the gas chambers of Auschwitz. Others were beaten as they walked down the streets by law enforcement officers just because they were different. And not too many years ago, I lay on the street as a group of youth kicked me in the ribs while shouting religious epitaphs after I came to the aid of a brother under their attack. No, please understand, this is very personal to us, and we will no longer stand by as others seek to oppress us or deny us our rights. I would like to leave you with a quote from Founding Father James Madison: "The civil rights of none shall be abridged on account of the religious beliefs of worship, nor shall any national religion be established, nor shall the full faith and equal rights of conscience be in any manner or in any pretext infringed." Mahalo.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
My number is 4001. My name is Roberta Chang. I was born and raised here. I am a registered voter of the state of Hawaii. My paper says good morning, but it's good evening, I understand. I've been with you since this morning. I've been with you since Monday. I've listened. You have on your electronic technology my written testimony before you. You know I oppose SB1, kill the bill. I just want to add to that testimony that I've learned a lot throughout this process. I learned a lot throughout this week about myself, what I believe in, about others and their reactions. I've seen each of you, and I've matched named with your faces. My comments have also evolved as one of you keep mentioning about 3 things I've learned. I have learned to share with others and others in other districts. I've stood in lines. I've met people. A senator, number 2, I learned that a senator lied to me. He said I needed to understand that it takes years to pass a bill because it has to go through all the processes. Apparently, with SB1, it is obviously not true. And this issue. What lessons and legacies have they will leave behind? And it's not fear that I'm voicing here, it's concern about the arrogance of the senators who listened or did not listen and still went ahead.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, please.
(4043) David Chun. When Christians disagree on something, such as gay marriage, our Christian default is to refer to the Bible. And the Bible that Jesus himself read and quoted from states that homosexuality is wrong. While Jesus did not say much about homosexuality himself, at least it was not written down, Jesus did talk about marriage. In Matthew chapter 19, Jesus said, "In the beginning, God created them male and female. For this reason, a man shall leave his father and mother and be united to his wife." Now, according to the words of Jesus, marriage is between a man and a woman. And according to the Bible, homosexuality is a sin. Now, LGBT community, I know when someone calls you a sinner, our response in Hawaii is like, "Hey, what? What are you calling me?" Yeah? That's how I felt when someone called me a sinner years ago, the first time. But please, I pray, listen to the rest of the story. One day, a woman caught in sin was brought to Jesus. Her accusers wanted to stone her, but Jesus' words made everyone drop their stones and leave the woman alone. Then Jesus turned to the woman and said, "Neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more." Starting with me, everyone here is a sinner. But when we come clean to Jesus, He forgives your sins. Jesus loves you. He makes you ohana. And then Jesus calls you and me to rise above your past, to go and sin no more. You know, Pascal once said, there is a God-shaped hole in each of us that both of us, homosexuals and straight, try to fill with pornography, any kind of stuff. We end up empty. But when we come to Jesus,
Thank you very much.
we are
Next, please.
filled.
My number is 4045, and my name is Imsanaro Chan. Aloha, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a registered voter, and what I'm going to say now is a repetition of what you have heard 1,000 times, but I'm still going to say it because it's from my heart, and it's my deepest concern, and I don't know if you are hearing it or not. I'm a mother of 4 young children, age ranging from 4 to 10 years, and I'm against the same-sex marriage bill. My husband and I have been here all this time, even to the point Thursday night, we have to ask them to get ready for bed and go to sleep by themselves because we were here until midnight, because this is a really serious matter for us and our family. I'm a stay-home mom because my husband and I agree that it is our responsibility as parents to educate and train our children in the path of righteousness so that when they grow up, they will not depart from it. And we have been teaching and training our children to be responsible, productive, and a community contributor. But today I feel threatened thinking about what my children and I as a parent will go through as a consequence, as a result of this bill, especially in the area of education and our moral values and the Christian beliefs that we are teaching to our children. The lives of my children are precious and their future is important, so I am not going to take chances where their life and future is at risk. When I called and talked to someone at the district representative office, he was kind to listen to me and he said, "I hope things work out for you." Well, how will things work out if my representative does not hear my voice? Lastly, I admit that in the past I have cast my vote without doing my homework on my candidates. This has been a wake-up call. I urge all responsible and concerned citizens and voters to kindly study and find out what your candidate is before you cast your valuable vote. Mahalo.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
My number We keep hearing that marriage is the most sacred institution in society, and I do believe most people get married in a church with the sanctity of matrimony at heart. However, 50% of these sacred matrimonies get replaced by a divorce decree, a legal right opposed by the church fiercely, a right that Christians get at family court. But divorce is legal in spite of churches because the separation of state and church is a legal fact. Marriage, just like divorce, is a legal right that starts materializing with a marriage license. It's not about religious blessings or wedding parties. Some citizens are spiritual, law-abiding, but not part of organized religion. That's part of the freedom of religion. So equality, equal rights to marry, it's certainly not an issue that is being rushed when it's been 20 years in the making. Justice delayed is justice denied. You have now the opportunity to stop discrimination and vote for equal rights before the courts will.
Thank you very much. Could you tell us your number before you leave?
$4032.
4032. Mahalo. Next, please.
My number is 4044. I'm in opposition to SB1, and I think this, I know this bill should be trashed. I wish you could just press that button and trash this bill. I thank God that my mother and father are not here to see and witness this tragic event in Hawaii's history, where people that represent you seem to be looking the other way. Not all of you, fortunately. But this special session demonstrates a lack of representation in our leadership. I've heard things like equal rights, civil rights, marriage rights. Marriage cannot be changed by man. This is natural law between a man and a woman. As far as the governor, it's not about money. It shouldn't be about any money. If you offered me $230 million, I still would go the same way I'm going right now. Money does not change me or my values or my mind. As for myself, I respect all people. I don't hate anybody. The only thing I hated was killing in Vietnam, and that I had to do. In the 60s and prior, it was not aware of the discrimination of the black people that they endured. I read about it in a book or shown it in other ways. But until it happens right at home, it does not seem like a reality. If I gave blood for years to help all people, but some people cannot give blood. It's because of their lifestyle. That's their decision. The people of Hawaii should be deciding what is marriage and not forced on us. This is not a movie or a movie station that if we choose, we can decide not to watch or change the station. This is forced on me and my families of Hawaii. Why can't this wait? This is the time to show all people their rights, but not those just selected. Where are my children's rights, the right of a child who needs a mother and father? This is not the time to validate a lifestyle promoted by government.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
Honorable Chair and committee members, my name is Putter Minkin, and my number is 4013. I'm a resident voter since 1972 of Kailua in the last 20 years, and I want to thank you for your grace and your perseverance. I've read and am opposed to Senate Bill number 1 because it's my belief that Jesus Christ himself defined marriage in the Bible in the verse that another brother read you just a few minutes ago, Matthew 19:4 and 5. But I want to talk to you about belief systems. A wise man once said, every man and woman has a belief system. So my question to you is tonight, what anchors your belief system? Some of us are Buddhists, some are atheists, some are Muslims, some agnostics, some worship the earth. But the fact is that we have different spiritual belief systems, and that explains why this process is so contentious. Different belief systems inevitably collide. Example of bad logic. Former Judge Levinson said last night, religious doctrine is God's law, and if you will, it's very important, but God's law is an apple and state law is an orange. Sounds reasonable on the face of it. However, God's law is different from state law. This logic shakes hands with the lie that the church and the state are separate. The logic is flawed. You can separate apples from oranges, but not beliefs from law. That's just silly. How can you separate the scent of a turkey cooking from Thanksgiving? How can you remove the color red from blood? How do you separate heat from light? What's my point? You can't separate me from my beliefs any more than you can separate the color red from blood. You can't separate a large group of people like Christians from their belief in the sacrament of marriage. So the overriding truth is marriage is only between one man and a woman, and I ask you to vote.
Thank you very much.
No.
Next, please.
My number is 4067. Aloha. I think good evening now. I'm waiting 10 hours. My name is Earl Shiraki and 22-year member of the Palo Neighborhood Board. I am against Senate Bill number 1. is just not democratic, and it is unconstitutional for 20 senators to pass Senate Bill number 1. We, the people, have the right to vote on this issue. Do we want same-sex marriage in Hawaii? Oh, please respect the rights of the people of Hawaii. There are hundreds and thousands of people out there shouting, let the people vote, let the people vote, let the people vote. Please kill Senate Bill number 1. They are treating the people of Hawaii like second-class citizens. And we, the people of Hawaii, should not stand still and be afraid. We should not take this bullying from our legislatures. Let's stand up together and fight and defend our constitutional rights to vote against same-sex marriage. Okay? I submit to you the notion of placing this issue in the form of a constitutional amendment and on the ballot for voters to decide is the only acceptable means of arriving at what the people of the state of Hawaii wants. The issue should not be decided by you, but us, the great community who must live with the consequence and rewards of what we see and just and fair. Simply put, this is too great a question to leave to your discretion and interpretation. Do not be afraid. Let the people decide. Voters have the power to decide, not the legislature, okay? You were elected and you are working for the people, so listen and obey. Let the people vote. Let the people vote. Okay, thank you. Amen.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
Hi, my name is Cecilia Gay, and my number is 4131, and I am here in support of SB1. I consider myself an advocate for families. I've had experiences in my life that have allowed me to develop a broad definition of what family is. I was adopted into a Samoan family, and I grew up in a loving and supportive community with fa'afafine, who were normally a part of our society. We loved them. I got plenty lickings, but I knew I belonged there. I grew up in a religion. I'm Mormon. And I was taught families are forever. My church taught me that the greatest blessings on earth can be found in the home. And guess what? In my church, there's homosexuals there. I'm a military veteran. I was stationed overseas. I had no family. And I developed a new family. Different races, different gender, different sexual orientation, but I learned a new saying there, I got your six. I came back here to Hawaii and I got married to a man. We've been married 14 years and we have 4 children. They have been my greatest source of happiness on this earth. I began working for other families in Washington State in the juvenile department. I worked with kids coming from extreme abuse, sexual, physical, verbal. I did not find homosexuals as parents there, but I did find homosexuals. They were thrown out of their homes. Now I'm getting my doctorate in clinical psychology, deepening my understanding of families and what it is to be homosexual. Please vote no. Family is love.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
Uh, 4034. Jessica Luning and my minor 6th son gonna testify together for that minute and a half. I'm a teacher and I'm also a private preschool owner, so I'm not a nonprofit. I rent from a church, and I'd like to share a little quick clip of my 4-year-olds who I teach to read before entering kindergarten. So they're saying, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I come to you as a Kanaka Ma'ole. Born and raised from the family Helenihi and Luning, my father swam with Kanamoku. My great-grandfather swam with Kanamoku. We talk about equal rights. This is Hawaii. What happened to the Hawaiians? I'm an American. I yield to the American way. What's happening? Our country, we're a laughingstock. Other countries, we lead democracy. This is not democracy. I yield to my son who goes to Kamehameha School. I'm a mother of 8.
My name is Jonah, and I'm against SB1. And my advice to you guys, it's best to kill the bill and go through the process again. Mai maka'u ika hana, maka'u ika moloa. Don't be lazy. And just because we're going through all this and it's strenuous, doesn't mean that you should go through it again. Because the vast majority obviously doesn't like this bill, but there is also a minority out there, and they want this bill. And you guys being the governing body, you guys need to see both sides just. And
okay, thank you very much.
Sorry.
At this point, members will break for questions of this latest group of testifiers. Questions?
Mr. Speaker, Chair,
McDermott.
the last group of testifiers, could you guys stay? You mentioned you have a preschool.
Yes.
Is there a faith-based component to that at all?
Yes, there is. 18 years ago, I was a welfare mom with many children, and I started my own preschool 10 years ago. And I teach Hawaiian children how to read. We SAT test them, and we rent from the church. And so they make a profit from our rent. And maybe I may not have a place to rent anymore. 90% of our children are Hawaiian, and they read at the middle of first grade when they leave our preschool. Yes, and it will affect me either way.
When you teach them at that young age, and you said it's faith-based, so I'm assuming you inculcate them with your values, and I say your values, your faith's values.
My faith values, like Malama and Pono and Kokua, yes, and Jesus Christ, but irrelevant to the fact that one amendment to own a business in America should not be trumped by a civil rights issue, or the right to a child to have an education. That should not be trumped by a civil rights issue such as this isn't a civil rights issue. So yes, we do teach values, of course.
Right. Would you feel comfortable compromising your values to, if this bill passed and they said, okay, you can't say that a mom and dad is the optimal, you have to change that? And I'm not even sure it comes up, but it's part of your faith, right?
Exactly. I would not be comfortable because everybody has the right to choose what business they want to come into. And I have the right as a business owner, straight or gay, to say, I don't want to do business with you because you're loud or obnoxious or we're not able to do. And if you change this law, I may not have that choice as a business owner. I'm not against work too hard for this. I don't depend on any assistance from the state. We have 8 children. This is one of my babies. The rest of them are all voting all over this island. Sons. I have sons.
We are blessed indeed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Members, any other questions? Vice Chair Har.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can I have Roberta Chang come up, please? Good evening, Ms. Chang.
Good evening.
Thank you for being with us. I'm sorry that you had to amend your testimony to note good evening as opposed to good morning, but thank you for being in this with us since the beginning of this week. It's my understanding that you're a preschool teacher. You're a preschool teacher. Or a preschool
I've been in the early
administrator?
childhood field for over 33 years now.
Okay.
I've directed 3 preschools.
Okay, so did you ever work at a religious-based preschool?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so are you familiar with this bill and public accommodations?
No, I As far as this bill is concerned, I read it and read it and read it, and the reason why I'm opposed it is because I haven't had enough time to discuss this with others, with the representatives, with you folks. This thing just slipped right in, and I'm really appalled. I watch so many people voice their concern on Monday night, and the senators seem to have just turned a deaf ear, or they had their own hidden agenda. And I think, we should just be honest with each other. Is our testimony worth you folks listening
Is
to?
this a response to a question or?
Okay.
Well, no, she's telling me.
So what was the question?
No, I was asking her about her position. I thought that she said she was a preschool teacher, and I was trying to understand what she felt about that bill because she came from a religious organization.
Right.
Okay,
But she said that's not the issue.
Right now,
Okay,
in
but
front
what's
of
the question?
in front of the legislators, and that there's a bill out there that's being concerned and showing concern for the religious-based preschools, because
I'm sorry,
I was told.
I still haven't heard a question, Representative.
Okay, I was told. No, this is
I'm
a
happy to have you answer a
reflection
question,
on
but
this.
I'm not hearing the question.
Ms. Chang, wait a minute, okay? Okay, listen. The question is, okay, you're explaining why you are so upset right now. But the
Right.
question is, with respect to this particular bill, what is your issue with this particular bill?
It's very confusing. It's ambiguous. It's very vague.
But I'm also hearing you talk about process.
And the process I went through, I was sort of reassured that this bill or any bill that comes out of the Senate or the House or whatever, there's a process and it takes time. And for some
I'm
bills,
sorry, who
it
told
takes
you that?
years.
Who told you that there's a process and that it takes time? Where did you get that from?
From a senator.
Oh, I see.
And I'd
Okay.
rather not just embarrass him
Okay.
right now.
I mean, I think
Okay.
we've been over this topic
Okay.
with multiple people all day.
Okay,
But,
thank you.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Okay, members,
thank you.
anything else?
Chair, I'd like to ask the Vietnam veteran a question.
Okay, Representative McDermott.
That's you. First of all, thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you.
It has to do with religious liberty. Are you familiar with Muhammad Ali,
Yes, I am.
formerly known as Cassius Clay?
Yes, I am. I followed him a long way.
And you were in Vietnam. Are you familiar with regard to religious liberty, his case before the United States Supreme Court, in general terms?
In general terms, he refused to serve this country on his religious beliefs.
And he got a unanimous decision in support of him, correct?
Correct.
Are you aware that this bill before us is much narrower than any exemption or consideration that was given to Mr. Ali?
Yes, I'm well aware of that.
Okay, thank you, sir, and thank you for your service.
Thank you very much. Members, any other questions? Okay, seeing none, let's go on to the next testifier. Who's next?
My name is Lorna Cockett, and my number is 4029. I'm a wife, mother, grandmother, and had taught preschool in Honolulu for to witness the mama and papa bear instincts roaring to protect Ohana. I too hold the same position. Thirdly, the UN promoted human rights directives intending to protect and provide for basic care and protection to a certain group in the world's second youngest nation. The 8,000 villagers whom I daily lived amongst much of the past 6 years has been experimenting and living out these directives. What was meant to be a good thing has caused the opposing end of the directive to surrender given responsibilities and rights, following the rules as left for interpretation. They are confused and continue to step backwards specifically because of these human equal rights declaration. SB1 has the potential to put us in the same boat where the proposed law, because the proposed law is too vague and left for various interpretations. The UN Declaration of Human Rights 18 states, everyone has the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion, to manifest his religion or belief in teaching, practice, and observance in public or private. I do not see SB1 protecting my freedom, nor the people who seem to be a majority. Regarding education, Declaration 26 states, it shall promote understanding, tolerance among all nations, racial or religious. Please note, there is no wording for lifestyle or preference groups in which my calculative thinking and deep conscience convinces me we are discussing today. You cannot impose SB1 in lieu of equal rights with all its good intentions without carefully considering the offensive social and legal ramifications.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
"4030. Hi, I'm Marsha Miyamoto, registered voter from Mililani. I oppose SB1. Kill the bill, not Hawaii. Saying no to SB1 reflects love for Hawaii, not hate or prejudice. Saying yes to SB1 grants privileges to some, but destroys rights for many. Everyone deserves love and respect, regardless of sexual preference, race, religion, etc. And democracy is supposed to protect the rights of everyone. SB1 fails to do this. Don't be deceived by the small Band-Aid House Bill 6. Just kill the bill, not Hawaii. This bill opens doors for even incest and polygamy from what I understand. And it says, and don't force Hawaii through consequences as other states and Canada suffer from the impact of same-sex marriage. Take time to thoroughly examine the many aspects exposing unforeseen complications of this non-urgent yet serious matter. Hawaii's children are the real victims of SB1. Look at what's happening in all the other places that allow same-sex marriage. Don't overlook our children and our rights. In schools, teaching homosexuality will be unavoidable because topics of institutions, marriage, pops up throughout the whole curriculum. Schools must not be used as hidden means to develop into larger dominant culture as SB1 will impose. This is brainwash in disguise. Please kill the bill, not Hawaii's children. You were all elected respectively for your integrity with expectation to hold Hawaii's best interest. I really want to support you all to make the right decision, for it will leave a mark on Hawaii's history and my heart forever until the end of the world. Please kill the bill, not Hawaii. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
Marianne Joy, 4005.
Thank you.
I'm opposed to this bill. It appears that this special legislation has been designed to shove same-sex marriage down the throats of Hawaii's people. And it is a shameful display of legislative arrogance and politics at its worst. The voters' intent was abundantly clear in 1998 when more than 70% of the people voted against same-sex marriage. The passage of SB1 would be a slap in the face of a majority of Hawaii's voters, and make no mistake, there will be political ramifications. The people will demand that their legislators be held accountable. If there is a way to stop SB1, the people will find it, just as they did in 1998. There will be a grassroots movement to put the same-sex used in manipulating the words of the same-sex marriage legislation that was put on the ballot years ago. Remember, more than 70% of Hawaii's voters voted for traditional marriage and thought that they had put the issue to rest permanently. Yet here we are again, dealing with the same issue. The people's passion against this bill is more than sufficient to fuel the passage of a permanent recall referendum initiative law in Hawaii to prevent Hawaii's legislators from ignoring the voters. Also, the recall referendum initiative law is needed in Hawaii to prevent the kind of political trickery that was used to produce A false legislation that conned voters into believing that their vote for traditional marriage of one man and one woman was settled when they voted in 1998. If you pass SB1, you will awaken a sleeping giant.
Thank you very much. Next up, please.
I am George Joy, a combat veteran. My number is 4006, and I am opposed to SB1. In 1998, I voted against the same-sex marriage, and I resent the fact that we have to deal with this issue again. I was led to believe that in 1998, the 1998 vote, the same-sex marriage issue would be thrown into the garbage where it belongs. Obviously, political games were played back in 1998. If we have to deal with this issue again, like me, Hawaii's voters thought that they had defeated the same-sex marriage issue. The word games that politicians used in 1998 to deceive the voters into believing that lie were despicable and violated every ethical standard in a civil society. I'm also disgusted by the political game that is being played now with the special session, not allowing enough time to properly vet SB1 is not democratic and violates Hawaii's voters' rights. Governor Abercrombie and the legislature are not giving enough time for the people to understand SB1 and how it will truly impact Hawaii's families. That's our ohana. The question is why? Why is this being rushed through so quickly? We are learning now, because of Obamacare, that we must know what is really in the bill before voting for it. Why hasn't the governor and Hawaii's legislature learned that lesson? The con game that politicians use when they grudgingly put the same-sex marriage issue on the ballot in 1998 was like spitting in the faces of all the voters who voted against same-sex marriage then, and voters who oppose it today.
Thank you so much. Next,
act
please.
like honorable men and women. Do your jobs.
Next, please.
Aloha, I am Theldine Wegeson from Mililani and assigned number 4050. I'm a wife, mother of 6, grandmother of 21, a great-grandmother of 1, and I still have my parents here with us. I speak for them as well, as we all stand in firm opposition of Bill SB1. Throughout these hearings, we've heard many factual and heartfelt testimonies, all testimonies of merit, worth, and value. But there was one testimony that should not be forgotten. Phil Lees, the educator from Canada, where same-sex marriage is a law, came here to sound the voice of warning to you, our legislature. He warned you about the effects that same-sex marriage has on its country, its Constitution-protected freedoms. Religion clubs can't be set up in Canada's school because the endorsement of these clubs would be an endorsement of their values, which would be in conflict with the sexual orientation. We've heard many, many more testimonies from people of Canada and how this has affected their country. So I ask you, what about our children? What about their rights? What about their freedoms? You've been warned and forewarned of the implications and effects that this bill will have on the people of Hawaii, especially our We urge you as constituents to vote no on SB1 and allow the people to decide.
Regardless of the outcome and what may happen, I just testify to you of God's miracles and power in prayer. My brothers and sisters, near and far, rely on your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Rely on the power of prayer, and I promise you, He will guide you, He will lead you, and He will direct you, no matter what.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next, please.
My number is 4054. Aloha no le kaipo. Kau inoa o Mililani Mauka. Mai ao he 30 o u makahiki. Ua mau ke ea o ka aina I ka pono. The life of the land is perpetuated in righteousness. I am strongly opposed to SB1. This is not right. I am a native Hawaiian with 90% Hawaiian. My roots and ancestors come from Ka'u, Na'alehu, Pahua, Honoka'a, and La'u, Pahoihoi. In SB1, Section 572C, it indicates as a parentage presumptions based on marriage for same-sex couples. Parentage presumptions will transfer Native Hawaiian ethnicity claims to non-Native Hawaiian individuals. SB1 discriminates against me and my people in our land. In every instance in a same-sex marriage, at least one of the parents is not the biological parent of the child. However, when a parentage presumptions are applied, the ethnicity of both of the both of the marriage partners automatically transfers to the child. The child's birth certificate will read Native Hawaiian, and benefits reserved only for Native Hawaiians will be transferred to non-Native Hawaiian children as a result of SB1. This Hawaii Marriage Equality Act of 2013, this is wrong. Kapu. The federal government protects the rights of the Indians, and yet the legislators and representatives in this state want to take away the rights of the Hawaiians, my rights, and give these rights away. Our preamble in the Hawaii Constitution states to dedicate our efforts to fulfill philosophy decreed in the Hawaii state motto. Shame on you if you vote for this bill. Let the people decide. Aloha.
Chair Rhodes. Oh, sorry.
I have an announcement to make. So we're going to go ahead and get as far into the 4,000s tonight as we can, but we're going to stop at 11. So we're going to go as far with the 4,000s as we can tonight, but we will be stopping at 11. And then Monday, we'll come back on Monday, I believe at 11 o'clock is the time in this same room. Okay, next.
Chair Rhodes, Chair of our Judiciary Committee, Chair Luke, aloha, and fellow representatives of the state of Hawaii, aloha. My name is Lance Pagador. Standing next to me is my daughter, and my number, is 4125. I would like to stand by what I submitted, which I tried to put as much information I could together from what I understood after reading the bill with my testimony, but now would want to present to you what I feel now. I was born on the Big Island, Kohala. When I read the bill, I called my mom in Kohala and said, "Mom, did you know that the governor is planning to change this bill?" And she said, "Oh, brother, how can that be? There's no time to talk about it. They have not even known about it." I submit to you, why so quickly are you trying to push this bill through? I also was standing out there holding the sign. There was a gentleman, I have not even used this acronym LGBT, I think it is, drove up and started to confront us just right somebody simply say, "Sorry, I cannot do that service," who doesn't even know about this bill if we pass it tonight. I also submit to you, if this bill passed, I'm so confused even right now, would we need to redefine a father and a mother? I'm in opposition of this bill. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next please.
Good evening. My name is Charlene Kahumoku. My number is 4021. I oppose the SB1. I am a native Hawaiian and trust the legislator to do the right thing and represent us all. This is my testimony. I'm here and stand by this because of my children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, my nieces and my nephews, and my cousins. I heard the truth about Canada and Massachusetts by making it law and how it affected their families and state. I can't understand why the urgency to pass this bill. Let the people decide. I'm not against the people who's gay. That's between them and God. I'm against making it a law without considering repercussions you may be creating. The church represents God and his commandments. His words in church is our law. The confusion with our children, what is marriage? This is a preferable choice, never a law. If you give gays the right by making it a law, you then take away the rights of Christian beliefs. Where is the equality of the freedom of choice? Where is the pono in this law? I come before you through truth, through the blood of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Do the right thing. Let the truth be revealed through Christ our Lord. I also, as a Hawaiian, concerned about my ohana, of what happens to them if this law is passed. How are they going to continue getting the land? I am on Hawaiian homes right now, but how would it affect my children? I thank you for allowing me to speak. I ask you, please, let the people decide.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
Aloha, good evening. My name is Patty Paulino, and my number is 4046. This is a reflection over the last 4 days. It'll be different than my testimony I submitted. But I am a mother of 3, a wife, a registered voter, a business owner. And as a mother of 3 teenagers, one of the common
I'm sorry,
themes...
excuse me, what was your number again? 4046?
4046.
And what was your name?
Patricia Paulino.
Because we have a completely different name. We have Chi Tsong.
No, I have my number in my purse if you need it. 4046. My original... I get more time.
Yeah, we'll reset the clock, but can you go back and check with the clerk and just get it straightened out, because we don't have your name with your number.
Patricia Paulino?
I'm Patricia Paulino.
Okay, you're 4064.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right. Sorry
That's
about
right.
that.
4064. I'm sorry.
Please restart the,
Okay.
restart the clock. Go ahead.
I'm a mother of 3. I'm a wife, a registered voter in Eva Beach, and a business owner. And as a mother of 3, one of our most frequent topics of conversation are the quality of their choices. We talk about every decision they make carries a weight. Every decision they make affects someone else around them. Every choice either reaps a benefit, or it promotes peace, or it'll reap turmoil, regrets, or disappointment. We talk about how when a bad choice is made and someone gets hurt, we can't just wash our hands and say, oh well, it's up to you now. My part is done. Our bad choices carry a weight, and we're responsible for what happens, because every decision carries a weight. The same goes for you. You can't just say things like, we can't control what the DOE will, how they will interpret this bill, or we can't control what the courts are going to say about this decision or that decision. And although those statements are true, you as our elected officials are responsible for the decisions that you make. You're responsible, you're required to make the best decision possible so that we, the people, don't end up as carnage in the wake of your decision. This bill is yet not ready to be voted on. There were so many questions, too many questions left unanswered, too many things for the courts to decide. There was too much opportunity to twist and manipulate the law. Will agencies decide to take liberties? And I just think that that will happen on just an allegation of discrimination. So I just ask that you look.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Next up, please.
Margaret Scow, number 4031.
Thank you.
Aloha, Chair Rhodes, Chair Luke, and members of the committees. My name is Margaret Scow, and I strongly oppose SB1, the same-sex marriage bill. As a parent, I'm very concerned about this legislation. I'm concerned about the message that it will send all young people that homosexual behavior is safe, when in fact it is not safe. It's a very dangerous lifestyle. Although homosexual curriculum is not mentioned in this bill, we know that states where same-sex marriage has been legalized, homosexual curriculum in the public schools immediately follows. That's a great concern to me. In California, the state legislature approved a bill mandating pro-homosexual teaching in schools with no parent opt-out. The bill also prohibits any school material or instruction that reflects adversely on homosexuality, bisexuality, or transgenderism. Parents cannot remove their children from classes with offensive material. In New York, after same-sex marriage was legalized, taxpayers were forced to pay millions for Harvey Milk High School, a homosexual-only high school. In Maryland, after same-sex marriage was legalized, schools were forced to hire cross-dressers. As a result of my research on the impact of same-sex marriage on the public schools, I have just formed a coalition against homosexual curriculum. In addition, homosexuals are not born that way. It's a lifestyle choice. Thousands have come out of homosexuality. And please stop misusing the metaphor separation of church and state. Please protect our keiki in the public schools. Vote no on SB1 and let the people decide.
Thank you very much. Okay, members, let's. If you have any questions for this group, let's go ahead with those. Seeing none, who's next? Next testifier?
Chair, hold on. Chair, I couldn't get the microphone in my hand on time.
Sure, likely excuse.
You're lucky I
Representative
have
Ward,
the
go ahead.
microphone in front of me, but I have a question for Marcia Maramoto. Is Marcia here? Number Miyamoto, 4030.
Correct.
I don't know if you or the testifier ahead of you said that the mama bear, papa bear instincts were coming out on you, and I wanted to know what would assure you, to comfort you, or to make you feel that you, your children, and everything are going to be all right. I know you said kill the bill, but is there anything short of that?
If this bill is passed, history books will be rewritten, and it will unavoidably be in.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
It will definitely affect education, and from preschool, kindergarten up, if it's taught or is somehow when it's taught, then children would be sort of like desensitized to whether what is right or wrong. And over the years, it would just be like brainwashing, and it would change the whole society.
Okay, your concern is at the educational level in the public school system.
I'm sorry?
Your concern is in the educational public school system,
Yes.
the educational process. Okay.
That, and also the destruction of rights.
Unless
for many.
we've gone over this so many times, Representative Ward, is there?
Chair, I totally agree with you, but as you remember in
Is
pedagogical training, when one hears a message continually, it means that it's shared and it's a common takeaway of the particular meeting. Even though it's a redundancy, it's a lesson of learning what the
fine,
people
but
of the state are
every
saying.
hour that we go on with
Having
hearings,
said that,
it
I have
costs the
another question
taxpayer money.
for Representative. It was the initiative referendum and recall. I think we need to straighten the record on that. Initiative referendum recall, the lady who said that we need to do and Joy. Thank you, Representative Har. Marianne Joy, what state were you referring to that has initiative referendum and recall at the state
There
level?
are 24 states that have enacted recall referendum initiative law in their states. And in those states, the representatives show respect for the voters. Unlike our state, it is what Clayton Yee, how he treated the people in the Senate hearings was appalling. It was disgraceful. I mean, he looked like he was a king, talking down to people who were lower than a dog. That is not right.
But
that's why that 24 states, they did that.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that you knew that we do not have that at the
If
state
you
level.
establish
but
that
at
to your
the
satisfaction?
At the city and county level, it is a factor, but not at the state level.
Okay.
Yes,
Well,
thank you, Chair.
Members, any other
There were
questions?
states that did bypass the legislature and put it on the ballot.
Representative
for the people.
Tokioka.
And that's what we want to do.
Thank you, Chair. And I think the couple that came up and you said your number was 4050, and I looked at it and the number didn't match the name. So I think your name was Salvine? Yes. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, when you came up, I was looking at the number and it didn't match, but what is your number?
My number is 4053. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I read 4050 instead.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. And I know, when did you come here to testify? Have you been here since Monday?
We've been here since Monday for the Senate hearing, yes.
And how many of you came down? You're
On
one big,
Monday-
I saw your big family out there. How many?
Yes, the children lying on little quilts and comforters, and that was our family. But when we came on Monday, we actually rented a bus, filled it up with our family. My parents, on their side, there's like over 100 something Chinese Hawaiian family.
And the passion behind this issue, as
The
you spoke
passion
about,
behind this issue is that, well, listening to the
I know you talked
don't
about the
feel
educational
leaves
component.
and-
So
yes,
can you
yes.
talk with your family and your niece? I mean, you might want to explain, and I'll give you, if the chair's indulgence will allow. I saw your niece outside with you, and she was almost in tears. And
Yes. I agreed to share my time with her because she has some other personal obligations. She's been here with us since Monday. Monica, she didn't get to say her name because we were looking at that 2-minute time
Can I
clock
just
there.
interject and say?
But her name is Monica Franco.
I'm very
and
glad.
she
I'm very
actually.
glad that you were willing to wait as long as you did. That this is an unprecedented hearing. I don't believe there's ever been a hearing this long in the history of the state of Hawaii. We've been taking testimony now for 27 hours as of the beginning, so it was another 39 hours on one bill. So I admire your tenacity. I'm very appreciative that so many people wanted to participate, but can we please move on because we've been doing this for 39 hours.
And Chairman Rhodes, I just want to say to you how cordial this group has been. And
we tried.
we've been watching, the family's been watching, and we appreciate the fact that you are allowing us to speak and not turning away
And we're glad you came.
the thousands. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Vice Chair Har.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Lei Kaipo, can you please come up? Good evening, Lei. Thank you so much for your passionate testimony. You know, we have talked about this section a lot, but with the chair's indulgence, I just need to understand why. I mean, did you say you were 90% Native Hawaiian?
Yes.
Wow, that's very unusual. Okay, so you really were very passionate regarding section 572C. So as somebody who's 90% Native Hawaiian, can you please explain why this is so offensive to you, this particular section?
Whew. Why? Because first off, for me, coming from my roots, being a human being that I am, it hurts me, you know? I see so much, for me, where I come from, I see so much love. And then to see all of this going on, you know, it's like kind of putting it back in the old days. And I don't want to see these things hurt my family, my kupunas, and my loved ones.
Okay, but Lei, let's go back to the blood quantum because I think that's what that's what this would affect, right? I mean, you went through the whole, you actually went
Yes.
through a whole example of how this would impact Native Hawaiians.
Honestly, I want you guys to at least give us the people to let us decide instead of you
Leah,
guys
I'm
deciding.
sorry, that wasn't the question. I'm sorry, that wasn't the question. So explain to me from a blood quantum how this would affect you from a blood quantum perspective.
How will it affect me? Because this is where I'm from. You know, it's kind of hard to being put on the spot and answer
I'm
a
sorry,
question.
yeah, and I don't mean to be making you nervous, but again, I've heard other people testify about this section about taking away rights from Native Hawaiians.
Yeah, exactly.
So is that what you're referring to?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you,
Mahalo.
Mr. Chairman.
Members, any other questions? All right, seeing none, let's move on to the next group of testifiers. Who's next? Okay, here's.
My name is Ernie Ho, and my number is 4135. I'm strongly opposed to SB1. I quote from, this is actually from one of the representatives, one of your, Tulsi Gabbard. Marriage is a bond of love and it's a spiritual and metaphysical in nature, Gabbard told Civil Beat in an interview. It's a sacred bond and it's not an area where government should be involved. That said, marriage is a matter of divine nature that is not subject to the voter whim of our legislators or even ourselves. However, since you are determined to legislate on this issue of marriage, as much as you listen to the advocates of SB1 on marriage equality, please give the thousands and thousands of people who are also opposed to SB1. And if you're determined to pass this through, then I beseech you, ask you for the time to spend on this very important bill, please. Having said that, I'm against SB1 because I think at the heart and the core of this issue is the promotion of unrestricted sexual behavior. As one pastor put, there is the boundaries and guidelines and principles that are contained in not just Christianity, but most of the major religions, Buddhism, Hinduism, Judaism, all the major religions have such kind of principles. And, let's take away the dignified titles of equality, civil rights, and marriage, those noble titles. Are we as you as legislators, are we as religious leaders, educators, proud of promoting such unrestricted illicit sexual practices? I'm using a nice word. Would be proud of leaving a legacy for our descendants that we were instrumental in promoting and facilitating this kind of unrestricted sexual practices? Are we proud to wear the title of free sex on our t-shirts, bumper stickers on our cards, our flags? Yeah, maybe many people are, but
Thank you.
I'm addressing, okay, finish.
Okay, thank you. Next, couple testifiers with the members and audience's indulgence. The husband has a 4,000 number, but the wife has a 2,000 number, so I don't want them coming back again with the family, so we're gonna take both of you at this time.
I think
Okay. Go ahead.
has a medication she has to take, and it's at home. Sorry. We're gonna test, okay, so 4 minutes for both of us. Okay. Can I ask a logistical question before my time?
What was that?
Can I ask a logistical question before my time?
Yeah, what is that?
You know the written testimonies?
That's all the written testimonies are on the record.
No. But do you guys get an opportunity to read that before? Because that's going to determine what I'm going to say today. Will all the written testimony be read before the vote? I guess is my question.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to divert from my written testimony.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you state your name and number?
Emikia 2693.
Thank you.
Our government offers these so-called benefits to opposite-sex couples, like tax breaks, medical coverage, etc., because those couples offer a benefit to society, the continuation of the human race, and the raising up of a nation and a society. Please tell me where in history, where in the world is an opposite-sex only marriage a detriment to society? If this is about money or medical benefits, then for goodness sakes, please take mine away. Not because I think it's right, as I mentioned above, there is a benefit to society, but because I would rather give up my tax break and medical benefits in order to preserve marriage. It is the foundation for the building
I keep hearing that there's so much divorce and it's bad examples, and you're absolutely right. They are very bad examples of marriage. There are lots of problems within marriage, but the root of the problem lies in the fact that we live in a constantly decaying moral society. Marriage isn't the problem with society. Society is the problem with marriage. Society thinks nothing of dishonesty, cheating, deception. We see it constantly, and the only time the government calls us on dishonesty is if it's to the IRS. We live in a society of self-centered people. It feels good, therefore I want it. I have to teach my children. Just because your brother comes home with a treat from the teacher and you want it, doesn't mean that you can have it. Fair and equal are not the same thing. I tell my son, Dora panties on sale at Target. You want me to be fair and equal? How about I go buy you a 6-pack of Dora panties? He laughs because it's ridiculous, and it is ridiculous. We should never have voted on this issue. I hope that I don't have to go down to the DMV and make a designation on the box that says that I'm straight. Please vote no. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
My name is Nathaniel Kouilani-Kia. I'm number 4009, and I'm in strong opposition to SB1, not only in regards to its substance, but in the deceitful and dishonorable way this bill has been positioned to undermine both the will of the people and the existing law of the land. The media and the politicians who support this bill have framed this issue as Hawaii's homosexual community versus the faith-based Christian communities which comprise the population of this land. No, this is about the will of the people versus reckless, sloppy government. With all the objections, legal shortcomings, and overwhelming show of opposition against this bill we've seen in the last few days, it would be unfathomable if this were not to be voted down by the House. I have heard members up here try to dismiss this as merely a matter of semantics, as if it's something to be simply resolved such. Yet, it was legal semantics and grammar, or however we're going to take in terms of the jujitsu that was put on the language of the Constitution that allows us to be here yet again discussing whether we're going to define marriage as between a man and a woman or expand that definition. As representatives of the people, to pass this bill now for you to pass this bill now would be seen as either an act of gross incompetence, of which you should all be removed, or an act of treachery against the people of Hawaii. The people's trust has been broken by the governor, broken by the Senate, and the classless Clayton He. We are tired of being some political petri dish for the progressive movement. I ask yourselves, with whom do you stand? I know that many of you face immense political pressure from the governor, the Senate, and beyond, but this is not an agenda that is driven from our land. Apparently, we are just not as cosmopolitan and worldly as you would like us to be.
Thank you. Okay, next up.
I'm number 4016. Aloha, honorable committee chairs and members. My name is Scott Foster, Communications Director for Hawaii Advocates for Consumer Rights. Our 20-year-old statewide organization researches and testifies on public policy issues affecting the social and financial well-being of our residents inclusively. I also testify today as the former editor of the Hawaii Gay Community News during the very beginning of the marriage equality debate 23 years ago. Regarding let the people decide, those who know the history of the U.S. Constitution understand the American founders considered rule by majority a problem. In theory, majority rule was necessary for expressing the popular will and the basis for establishing the republic. But the founders also worried that the majority could abuse its powers to oppress a minority, just as easily as a king had done earlier. James Madison, alluding to slavery, wrote, "It is of great importance in a republic not only to guard society against the oppression of its rulers, but to guard one part of the society against the injustice of the other part." Dr. Martin Luther King wrote in his letter from a Birmingham jail, "I have yet to engage in a direct action campaign that was well-timed, at least in the view of those who have not suffered unduly from the disease of segregation. For years now, I've heard Hawaii's gay community has waited 23 years for our constitutional right to marry with the many legal benefits and civil rights as recently decided by the Supreme Court. This national debate began in Hawaii, and it's time that it be settled in Hawaii. Please pass Senate Bill 1.
Thank you.
Mahalo.
Next, please.
Crystal Zane, 4,142. Chair Luke, honorable representatives, my name is Crystal Zane, and I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to testify. I was a special educator in the Department of Education a few years ago, and I'm currently the administrative director at the church I grew up in. As a special educator, one of the biggest lessons I learned was that fair is not always equal. And fair does not always mean that everyone gets what they want, but rather what they need. All of us want different things, but what exactly do we, the people of Hawaii, need? I ask you today, wherever you stand on this issue, that you will consider what is best for society. You are our legislators and are called to represent the people. At this moment, you are representing a people divided, which is a very difficult position. Please do not simply look at the wants of the people of Hawaii, but consider what our society as a whole needs. In my opinion, the best way to consider society as a whole is to let the people vote. Let the results of this legislative decision fall on the people's hands and not yours. Let us face the consequences of our choices rather than the consequences of yours. Thank you, and I'll be praying that God will give you the wisdom and guidance needed for your decision.
Thank you. I just wanted to announce that people with numbers 4201 to 4400, if you could register at the front in the auditorium. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Aloha. My number is 4049. My name is Feki Po'uha. I was born and raised on the North Shore. I grew up in Hau'ula, and I represent a lot of the community from that area. I'm a proud graduate of Kamehameha Schools, class of 2001. I see some of my classmates here. I'm also grateful for the community I grew up in. It's unfortunate that most of our legislators are not present at this time to hear this testimony, but I will move forward nonetheless. It's been an eye-opener to be here this past week to observe what has occurred. But what has been reassuring to me is the voice of the people. I've been outside with many citizens, hundreds, who are serious about this bill not passing. I hope you understand that every demographic, every age group, I know some claim to speak for certain demographics. So I would like to say that this bill is not what we want. I oppose Senate Bill 1. I've read over it many times. I'm a recent law school graduate. I've read over this bill. I've tried to talk to those who understand it. And I think what's happening here is that this process is being pushed too quickly, as has been mentioned. We have so much information that has been provided, yet I still see you're in a difficult place. And so I think, as we hear, let the people vote, or let the federal government decide on this. This is a federal question. Why are we expending our state resources? We should be figuring out other things to solve. We don't need to spend time on this matter. In this bill, it seems to me that we are increasing rights for one group, but we're infringing on the rights of another group. Rights of conscience are just being minimalized. And I cannot, in good faith, support this bill. I have nothing against those who choose an alternative lifestyle from mine. But when this process is rushed too quickly and not enough input is made, you're going to get this turnout that's here. People in the rain, in the dark, in the cold, in the wind, saying, let the people vote. Let the people vote. Let the people vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up.
Number 4134. My name is Dennis Kawamura, and this is my wife, Beverly. We are, next week, 2 weeks from now, we'll be married 43 years. And we grew up in a traditional family. Our family was with a mother, father, sisters, brothers. And we grew up in the years where it was like the Ozzie and Harriet with the things that we were impressed with. Family values. And over the years of our growing up, sex revolution, all of the things that began to start a movement away from traditional values. And we saw greater numbers of divorces, families with single parents. We saw sexual transmitted disease grow. We saw unwanted pregnancies, abortion, all these things affecting the family. We don't want this to continue to go on. We see this bill, Senate Bill 1, affecting and redefining what a family unit is. Marriage is reserved for one man and one woman. Within that family, there is a husband, a man, and a wife. Within that family, when the children come, they become fathers and mothers, different roles, different titles. And within that family, as other children come, they become brothers and sisters. It's not parties in the family. We have gender.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Hello, my name is Audrey Keesing, and I'm number 4007. Greetings, good evening. I am in favor of this bill, and I would be happy to have it passed with the language it has now, but I also would be happy if there were if there were no exemptions for religious organizations. My presence here is the culmination of 20 years of work on human rights in Hawaii. I ran for State House of Representatives in 1996 for same-sex marriage. I founded the National Organization for Women in Hawaii or reconvened it in 1993. And I've been up at the United Nations working on the Declaration of Human Rights, which we passed in 2007 after 25 years. So I stand on a platform of women's rights, indigenous rights, and on the lives of my friends and family who support me, and on a community that loves me and cares about me. And also, I actually have a religious faith, and it teaches me to look for the light of God in everyone. And I see the light of God in everyone in this room. But I want to dispel the darkness of intolerance and of self-loathing, and to expand our state into a stronger economy where we can prosper with all Hawaii's people having families, and all of these families will have equality, and we will be able to host some wonderful marriages for lots of loving couples. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up.
Laura Baisa, 4038. Okay. I'm in opposition of SB1. I would like to let the people decide, and we need to understand better. In the past few days, I've stepped out of the ordinary. I own a small business in Mililani Town, and family is important to me. And I took off of work so that I could participate in the rally, and I listened to testimonies in the various committees. There are so many unanswered questions before this becomes law, and I ask that we, the people, are given the opportunity to vote on such a controversial issue. There are too many good people involved where this bill should be given its due process and careful attention before passing into law. The legislatures are doing a tremendous job in weighing the pros and cons